All right. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of the 30th anniversary weapons and the exotics that were brought to us, so that way you can know what you should be grinding out there, which weapons are extremely good for PvE and PvP. Starting off first, we're going with the throwback hand cannon, the IS Luna. This thing is so good, definitely goes in the S tier. It has stats like the palindrome base stats, and it can get some really good rolls. I don't know why there's people out there committing blasphemy saying that this thing's not that good. It can get rangefinder snapshot, and with the current ability nerfs and stuff, you could get rangefinder demo, which would also be a really viable option. But either way, this IS Luna is so good. Definitely belongs in S tier, especially for PvP purposes. So that's where I'm ranking that bad boy. Definitely get to grinding for a god roll of that. Next up, we're going to talk about the we've got the Retraced Path trace rifle. This is the first ever legendary trace rifle. It's kind of hard to rank this thing because all of the other trace rifles are exotic, so it definitely gets a big, plus because of that. But overall, I don't really see anything being too extremely impressive for this in PvP or PvE. It does have the new perk on it. You get golden tricorn, or for PvE, you got one for all on it. Subsistence one for all would probably be a really cool role for clearing ads and stuff. But from what I've seen right now and from what I've tested right now, this thing doesn't seem to be so extremely impressive that it's definitely worth being an S or A tier. But maybe with some more time, maybe with some more testing, maybe when I get that one for all roll, my mind will change. But everything that I've seen or tested with right now makes me want to put that in the B tier right now. But let's go on to the next weapon, which is going to be the new Wastelander shotgun. This thing is unbelievably good. This thing is definitely S tier for PvP especially. You've got opening shot on this bad boy, and it's the only 80 RPM that can get opening shot. You can fire 2 shots really fast. You can pair with that slide shot. It also has a bunch of really good perks all around of it besides those as well. So if you haven't used this thing or given it a try, I haven't gotten a god roll, so unfortunately I haven't gotten any gameplay with it, but if you do get a god roll of this, make sure to take it into PvP. This thing is beast. Very good. Definitely S tier shotgun, the Wastelander. Next up, we're going to talk about the Hero of Ages sword. I was just testing this out in a private match, the Hero of Ages, because this is it's a vortex frame where you spin around, and it's the only one that has chain reaction on it. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to take it. I took it into Shirochi, and I spun around to clear the ads, and it still wasn't really that effective. So this sword, Hero of Ages, even with the unique perk it gets, chain reaction, unique to this archetype. It's not a chain reaction is a perk that's on many other weapons. Still really just not that impressive. So I'm putting that down in the B tier. It's cool to have a perk on a archetype that you don't normally find though, so that can be interesting. Next up, we're going to talk about the Matador 64, the D1 throwback shotgun brought back as a 65 RPM precision frame instead of the aggressive frame. And the rolls that can get on it are pretty good. I mean, if you have opening shot on a shotgun, you just have at least an A tier shotgun. Doesn't matter what the archetype is. If you have opening shot on a shotgun, it's really good. Opening shot is just such a good perk, and it just outclasses all the other perks for shotguns. Along with that, you could pair, threat detector. Anything that really gives it handling would be good. But overall, I do think that, you have the kinetic stasis shotgun that can give you quick draw. So that was probably a little bit better, outclasses it. And these 65s, they fire pretty slow, and they're, not quite as lethal as the aggressive frame. So it's kind of a tough decision. You either have to go the one hit kill potential and do the aggressive frame stuff, or you go the 80 RPM and just fire off 2 shots, or shotgun melee with any archetype, I suppose. But if you're going to shotgun melee or try to Titan, shotgun melee people and stuff, I would recommend just using the aggressive frames, so that way you get the hardest hit out of that shotgun. So I'm going to put that in the A tier because it doesn't have quick draw in that slot. I do think the quick draw would be the best option. You can get some really good handling on it though, and it's definitely a good weapon overall. So A tier for sure, definitely a strong weapon. Next up, we'll talk about the BXR Battler. Now, this is a throwback to the battle rifle from Halo. After using this thing a bunch, it's so good. I've gotten the new perk on it, which is blunt execution rounds. And if you get a melee hit at all, it gives you 50% damage boost, easy 2 burst, which is fun. But you're not really in pulse rifle range when you get that to proc, so keep that in mind. Kill clip, probably the overall better perk if you're playing the proper range for a pulse rifle. But still, it's a great pulse rifle overall, and at range, this thing is so beast and so fun to use. Definitely think this belongs in the S tier, but Some people could argue for maybe A tier, but overall, I think this thing is just easily the most fun and one of the most lethal pulse rifles in the game. Next, we're going to talk about the new sword, Half Truths, and this one rolls with that perk, Eager Edge, which allows you to skate like a bat out of hell. It's very fun to use, but there is a sword that outclasses it significantly because this rolls Eager Edge, and then its other perk slot is seriously lacking. That's why I'm going to put the other half sword in the S tier, and I put the Half Truths in the A tier. Because the other half can roll that Eager Edge perk, but also a damage boosting perk along with it. So it just seriously outclasses it. Overall, the Half Truths probably could be ranked much lower than that. I'm only ranking it A tier because it's just so fun to skate around right now. Probably in a month from now, it'll be more like C tier because the other half just outclasses it in so many different ways, right? Next up, we're talking about the grenade launcher, Pardon Our Dust. Okay, we've got a kinetic grenade launcher, so we have to compare this to the ignition code, which gets slide shot on it, which unfortunately this Pardon Our Dust does not. You're gonna have to rock this auto loading, and auto loading just doesn't compare to slide shot in these GLs. You've seen me use it many times before. You can just slide, shoot, and it's just so good for PvP or PvE, especially PvE, but even really good in PvE, and both of them rather. And so what you're going to do when you rock this weapon is you're going to do auto loading and blinding with this, probably with Danger Zone, which basically just makes it kind of like a truth teller, like a god roll of the truth teller, but not as interesting of a version, and both just get outclassed by the ignition code. So I'll put that in the B tier for that grenade launcher. Next up, we've got the 1,000-yard stare. Now, the 1,000-yard stare has the best zoom. It has 44 zoom, so it's going to have the lowest zoom, which is going to make it so nice to look down sights and snipe people. You always want low zoom. The higher the zoom, it does like amplify aim assist. So if you're on controller, you might want really high zoom. You might want something more like the Iron Banner telescope sniper. But for the most part, if you're on mouse and keyboard, or if you like the low zoom stuff like you're used to in D1, this is the sniper for you. It's got quick draw, snapshot. You could also use something like firmly planted snapshot. It's also a really good roll. But this thing is just so beast. Low zoom, snapshot, and quick draw, or even no distractions if you really want. It's a crazy sniper. Definitely belongs in the S tier. Very fun to use. And the last two exotics we got, the Gjallarhorn, of course, gets an S tier. If there was a tier above S tier, that's where the Gjallarhorn would be, truly. The Gjallarhorn is just so good. I mean, melts bosses, melts ads. The perks it has on it are just ridiculously good. Bungie definitely overtuned this for a reason to make it shine like it did back in D1 days, and it is shining very bright. The Gjallarhorn is insanely good, especially with the Catalyst. And then we have the Forerunner exotic sidearm, which also is S tier. The only problem using this is just the ammo economy, but the range, the lethality, and even if you get the Catalyst for it as well, is just crazy. I mean, this thing is just a beast. Definitely an S tier exotic. And that's gonna be it for all. That's all of the 30th anniversary weapons. That's all 12 of them that came. And let me know your thoughts and opinions if you agree with where I ranked them and what I think of them. If you disagree, feel free to comment down below. It's totally fine. And I'll be testing things out further with time, but this is my opinions about after using these weapons for about a week now. And that's a wrap on this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.